Explore how to make the most of your Excel 365 content by understanding the potential for data analysis and forecasting. In this course, learn how to use formulas to estimate loan-related costs as well as estimate and manage repayments. Make predictions for future earnings by seeing how to use the forecast tool to create a graph of forecast data based on historical values. Use the Analyze Data tool to quickly analyze your Excel worksheet to gain insight into any patterns, trends, as well as get recommendations on the data. And finally, see how to use the Power Query tool to import data and then transform and reshape that data as needed. Excel's powerful Consolidate feature enables you to extract data that's spread across multiple worksheets or workbooks and combine it all into a single table. You can also decide what calculation to perform during the data consolidation. In this video, you'll discover how to consolidate your data in Excel. I have a workbook open that contains 4 worksheets. Within the London, Berlin, and Paris worksheets, I have similar information, including row names and column headers. I'd like to combine all this information into one single table. To do this, I can use the consolidation tool. First, I'll go to the total worksheet, which contains a table in which I'd like to consolidate the information in. After I've done this, I'll select the cell at the top left corner of the table, because I'd like to consolidate the data found within the headers and the rows of my previous worksheets. Then, switch to the Data tab. On the right of the ribbon, within the Data Tools group, click the Consolidate button. A Consolidate window opens where you can specify which function to perform. At the top left, click the function drop-down, and from the list you can calculate the average, max, or min, etc. I'll select Sum from the list. Once you've chosen your function, below you'll need to choose the cell references to consolidate. So these will be the cells in my other 3 worksheets. To add a cell reference, click the up arrow button on the right of the reference field. Then, at the bottom left, switch to the Paris worksheet and then select the complete cell range of the table here. In the Consolidate window, click the Reference button. And to add this reference, click the Add button on the right. That cell reference now appears in the All References list below. To add my other 2 worksheets, I'll need to repeat this process. Click the Reference button. Select the Berlin Worksheet tab. Highlight the table cell range, then click the Reference button again. And to add this reference, click the Add button. To add the last worksheet, again click the Reference button. Select the London Worksheet tab. Highlight the table cell range. Click the Reference button, and then click the Add button to add it to the All References list. Note that if you wanted to add a cell reference from another worksheet, you can click the Browse button on the right to open your File Explorer, where you can search and open other workbooks. Once all the relevant references have been added, at the bottom left you need to choose whether to consolidate the data in rows, columns, or both. Since I'm consolidating both rows and columns, I'm going to check the boxes next to top row and left column. Then click the OK button at the bottom right to consolidate the data. And my table in the total worksheet has now been filled with data. So now I can see that the information from the 3 worksheets has been completely consolidated and located within this one single table. This will undoubtedly save me a lot of time from having to navigate between the worksheets to compare data. This has been an overview on consolidating data in Excel. Data tables are a great way of testing different what-if scenarios when analyzing data. You can use data tables to create calculations using 1 or 2 variables. And once the data table has been created, you can adjust the values and change the calculation options. In this video, you'll explore how to use data tables for what-if analysis in Excel. In my worksheet are 2 separate tables. The table at the top left is for the cost calculation, which I'd like to create a scenario for. And the one on the right is for a scenario to test out the impact of various prices per unit, i.e. the what-if scenario. Now from here, I'll be able to test out different price per units, as well as cost per units, in order to calculate the best option available for my new product. First, I'm going to need to calculate my total profit. To do this, first select a cell where you'd like to place the formula. Then insert an equal sign. Next, choose the cell reference, which is the total product sold value in cell B2. Insert an asterisk symbol for multiplication, followed by an open parenthesis. Next, select the price per unit, cell B3. Insert a minus symbol, and then select the cost per unit, cell B4. Close off the parentheses and then press enter to perform the calculation. The total profit calculation is now complete, and the value displays in cell B5. I can now use this calculation when creating my scenario by referencing it, instead of having to copy and paste the whole formula. To reference the cell, first select the cell where you'd like to reference the cell containing the formula. Then insert an equal sign followed by the cell reference B5, then press enter. And that value has been added to my reference cell. Now, in order to create this scenario, I can use data tables. First, I need to select the cell range of all of my values from my cost per unit, as well as my price per unit in my scenario. Once I've selected the complete range, switch to the Data tab. On the right of the ribbon, in the Forecast group, click the What If Analysis button. And from the drop-down menu, select Data Table. A data table dialog box opens, where I need to specify the two values row input and column input cells in order to create the data table. Now, since I'm basing my rows and columns on price and cost per unit, I'm going to use my original table at the top left. Click inside the row input cell field, and then I'll select the price per unit, cell B3. Then click inside the column input cell, and I'll select the cost per unit, cell B4. Then, click the OK button at the bottom to start calculating my scenario. All the scenario values for the What If analysis have now been entered into the scenario table based on the reference values I've given. Note that if you manually modify one of these values in the scenario table, all of the scenario values that follow on from it will automatically update if you've used the What If analysis tool. This has been an overview on using data tables for What If analysis in Excel.